Welcome back to the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Today we're going to pick our Week 10 slate. That's insane. We're already at Week 10, double digits. We're over halfway done with the year. It's going by too fast, but it's been a lot of fun. We still got some weeks to go through, so we're gonna get to that. But first, I need to apologize to my team, my fantasy team, because I pulled a Kevin O'Connell. I seriously did. I didn't prepare my team the way they needed to. So what happened last week, whenever I had Nico Collins and Drake London and Marvin Harrison Jr. all out for either injury or a bye, I had to put Malik Washington in, and he did okay. He did fine. He got me like 14 or something. I was like, okay, that's fine. And I totally forgot that he played on Thursday, and I didn't get to take him out in time because I totally would have switched him out for Marvin Harrison Jr.
Hmm.
And if I would have done that like I wanted to, I would have won the game. But instead, I lost by 7. So it was a close matchup. My team fought. My team outplayed their coaching, but their coach, their manager let them down. And I apologize to you guys. We were on a 5-game winning streak, and I let you guys down. I will be better. So I had to apologize for them real quick. You got a big win because your team decided to look like the Alabama team from like 5 years ago whenever they were rolling over everybody. Your team just crushed it, but I let my team down. We should be on a 6-game winning streak, looking like a lock for the playoffs. Now we're 5-4. We're still fine, but we got some work to do to make sure we get in. So that's on me. I will be better, team. I will be better.
Way to take accountability during the not press conference time of the week, Andrew.
Well,
Appreciate
if
it.
there's a press conference, I will take accountability as well. That one was on me. I shouldn't have had Malik Washington there. I should have had Marvin Harrison Jr. And that's not just hindsight 2020. I would have done that at the beginning of the week as well, but saw it too late.
Well, I, somehow I think you'll be able to make it, Andrew. I think you're going to be fine.
I hope so. It is a deep league, and now I'm down to 10th when I was like 7th, and I think there's only 8 teams that make it. So I'm in
Yeah,
the thick of things now. Instead of almost being a lock, now I got some work to do. So back to the drawing board.
this has been, in my recollection, this has been the funnest season for fantasy football for that league.
Hmm.
Um, I think there's a lot of extra things in there. We could get into those details, but it's just nice to see that league be so competitive. Because I mean, Eli, who's a guy new to our league, he's crushing it and
Hmm.
has a really good chance to get the 1 seed. And not that anyone cares, but this time around in fantasy football for us, the home team gets 3 points automatically in the playoffs, which could be a really big deal if it's a tight game.
Yep, for sure.
So yeah, it's a tight race though. We'll see how it goes, man. I'm excited for it. So and yeah, you're in a pretty significant tie with the other six, 5-4 teams in our league, or five. Yeah,
Exactly.
the other five. Yeah,
Yeah. If I had made the right move, I'd be 6-3, looking like I said, in the top tier. Now I'm in the middle, kind of that middle tier mixed with everybody else. So that loss is on me, guys. We will be better. And I'm not giving excuses that there was a bye week for my starting quarterback and my starting running back. That did matter. It was on me. Injuries didn't matter. Coach messed up. But anyway, we should get right to these game picks. This is the meat and potatoes of this show. Um, and hey, we're back overseas. First game up is in
yeah,
Berlin.
I know.
Falcons
I
and Colts, which
well, wait a minute. Isn't that the second game up? Still have your Thursday night game.
that's true. That's true. I was just excited about that Berlin game. We can start
Okay, I
there.
got you.
That's a good
No,
point.
no.
So we'll start with the Raiders Broncos. That's fine. I like that. We probably should. So this is one of those Thursday night football games that are in division. So this should be fun. The Broncos are 9.5 point favorites. I don't know if I would go that far. I think
Hmm.
that's a little steep because the Raiders, they showed some offense last week. They probably should have won that game against the Jaguars. They went for two in overtime, which I respect the heck out of that. I love that. You go for two, go for the win, not the tie. And they just couldn't get it done. Jaguars pulled it off, pulled out the win. But I was more impressed with the Raiders than I was disappointed in them. But Geno Smith threw another bad interception. He's got to quit doing that. If he can get control of those turnovers, man, this team might be like a 500 ball club, but he just can't stop turning that pigskin over. It'd be interesting to see if they make any moves at the trade deadline, which is recording this on Tuesday. It is today. There's a lot of steam that Jacoby Myers could be on the move. I don't think that would hurt their team if he leaves because he hasn't really been doing a whole lot anyway. It's been Brock Bowers, Trey Tucker, and Ashton Genty. So, I mean, it wouldn't really make a difference for them. It'd be interesting for other teams. But I was more impressed with them this past week. I think that Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers are continue to carry this team as much as they can. But I don't know if it's going to be enough in this game because the Broncos, their defense is elite. Like you keep saying, they're probably going to break the sack record, which, Geno Smith is in trouble this game because he's not really super mobile. He's mobile-ish, but not enough to get away from this vaunted pass rush. But I will say the Broncos secondary can get had because Pat Surtain is still out. So they're a little banged up back there. So if you can give Geno Smith just a few seconds, he might be able to find a few guys. And the Broncos offense doesn't really frighten you. It's fine. Let me see. Bo Nix has 17 touchdowns, 6 picks. That's fine. It's not phenomenal. That interception number is a little on the high side, but it's not bad. J.K. Dobbins has almost 700 rushing yards. Cortland Sutton, 566 receiving yards. So their offense is fine. It's an average-ish offense. It's their defense that's elite. But this is at Denver, which is one of the key factors. So I'm going to go Denver to win this game. But let's see, where's my confidence at for them? But I think it's going to be close because it's like you said, it's a division game. I still have this as a confidence of 12, mainly because it's in Denver, and that's a tough place to play. If this was at the Raiders, it might be a coin flip for me, but it's at Denver, that high altitude, that stadium. I'm going with confidence of 12.
Denver comments 11 for me. And it's just because the way the schedule fell. As far as like the other teams, the other matchups, I'm more confident in other games.
Hmm.
Um, but I do see what you're saying. I just think a Thursday night game in Denver,
Yeah.
it's going to be tough. That's going to be a tough hill to climb.
Hmm.
And I think there's also something to say. We talked about emotional wins. I think there's something to say for emotional losses to have a letdown next week too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, because you fought hard, you clawed back, overtime game to just come out like a couple inches short. Yeah, that's going to be difficult to get back up from.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else on that one?
Nope. Now we can
Now
get to
let's
the
move.
true number one game of the week.
Now let's go to the
Or no,
Berlin
first game of
game.
the week.
Um, so I think this is a disadvantage for the Colts because this is their home game and it's at Berlin, so it's not a home game. And they're coming off that tough loss, which I thought about it even more. They had what, 6 turnovers that game, 5 by Daniel Jones, and they still almost pulled it off. They lost by 7. They fought and clawed, and they came close in the fourth quarter. I was, I think I was more impressed with their fight to come back than I was thinking they're a bust and a fraud. I think they're more fraudulent for sure than they were a week ago. And Daniel Jones played a typical Daniel Jones game from a couple years ago. He had 5 turnovers himself. He took a ton of sacks. And the Falcons pass rush is legit, so he's got to be careful of that. But I was kind of impressed that they fought and clawed and almost came back to make that game like a tie game toward the end. They just were too big of a deficit. Um, the key for stopping the Colts is to stop Jonathan Taylor. If you stop him, you have a great chance of winning that game because then it's completely on Daniel Jones. And threw for over like 350 yards, I think it was. So he still put up some numbers, but those 5 turnovers just kill you. Berlin is going to be a tough place to play, but I'm still not sold on the Falcons. I know they're competitive. They fight. Michael Penix is okay. They got players like Drake London crushed it last week, 3 touchdowns. Bijan Robinson is always can break any game open. He's just in line with Jonathan Taylor. Both of them are they're just defense killers. And if you don't pay attention, you can get got at any time by them. And the Falcons pass rush, like I said, is good, and that is the weakness for Daniel Jones. But I'm still not sold yet on the Falcons. I'm not there. So I'm going to go with the Colts, but because of the reasons it's in Berlin and Daniel Jones is bad against the pass rush, I'm only giving it a confidence of 5.
Um, I I just have no faith in the Falcons right now. They just I know they
I
had
hear
a
you.
I know they had a close game against the Patriots.
And they should have tied it, by the way, but they missed an extra point.
I think that the Falcons have convinced themselves they're the Colts of the NFC. We got a great running
Mm,
game. We have good quarterback play. I think the quarterback play is not the same.
hmm
Um, I don't think Daniel Jones is a top five quarterback, but he's probably playing like a top 10 quarterback.
It's fair.
Like this week in particular, having 5 turnovers, that's just not something a top five quarterback should
No,
do.
that's not acceptable.
You can't, and actually, the other thing is he had 3 fumbles.
I
So it
think
could have
one they
been
didn't lose, but yeah,
right,
yeah,
but it could have been 6 turnovers, is what I was just meaning.
absolutely. hmm
Um, but I think this is a good get right game for the Colts. So I
Good.
have a confidence of 12. It is tough. It's overseas. It is unfortunate. It's a home game, but I just I'm not buying the Falcons right now. It's too tough for me too.
hmm
I got to see more. I know they almost beat the Patriots, but those 5 losses are not great.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I'm buying on the Falcons are 3 things: Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and that pass rush. And those things do make this to me kind of an interesting game because Daniel Jones
Hmm.
really is bad against the pass rush, as TJ Watt just showed. So they, I mean, they should fine tune some things, get it fixed, but that does concern me a little bit. But I'm with you. The Colts should win this game. Um, okay. I was thinking, should we wait for Ravens Vikings till the end because the Eagles game is at the end? But I'm not going to. I'm just going to dig right into it. Um, Ravens Vikings. This is at Minnesota. Minnesota coming off that really emotional high win, and that is difficult to continue on. But one thing that I really loved is, well, 2 things I really loved with JJ McCarthy and like some post-game discussions. One, in the locker room, he was, leading the team chant, everyone huddle up, and he was telling everybody, this was an emotional high win, but we cannot let this stay with us. We have work to do. Let's get back to it. Let's not let this high ruin our next week, in the manner of speaking, in those words. And I thought that's great. He's 22, 23 years old, and he's already thinking that way. He's got great leadership. And then in his post game conference, being interviewed by all the media, they asked him, "How do you think you did?" He said, "I think I played poorly. I didn't think I played that well." He said, "There's a lot I need to tune up. I left a lot of meat on the bone." And it's a great mindset because he honestly didn't play all that great in some areas. In key clutch moments, he played great. Like 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. They were 4 for 12 on 3rd down. There were 4 times they got the first down off of 3rd down was 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 on key moments from JJ McCarthy. There was the touchdown run he had on 3rd and 9 where he ran and scored on his own. There was the touchdown pass to Justin Jefferson, which was a 3rd and 8 in the red zone. There was a pass to Jordan Addison on 3rd and 9 that kept it going. And then 3rd and 5 was the last one he got, which was the game sealer to Jalen Naylor. So those key moments, those big 3rd downs, you can't teach that. That's either you have it or you don't. He's got to work on some things. Like he was inaccurate on some throws, and he knows that. But I just like his big time moments. He rises to that. And the Vikings are getting healthier. Offensive line is intact. We'll see about Ryan Kelly. He's eligible to come back this game. I don't know if he's going to because 2 concussions in 3 weeks at the beginning of the year. That's bad. That's you got to make sure you take care of your future instead of just playing football. But even with that, our backup, Blake Brandel, he's been playing fine. He's had a good game, then a bad game, then a game, then a good game. He played good last week. So I think he's fine. If we have to throw him at center, the rest of our O-line is healthy. I think is fine. Just Jefferson, Jordan Addison are awesome. TJ Hawkinson got in the end zone last week. But the key thing is the defense. They stop the run. Can they do it again? It's gonna be a little different this time because they stopped Jahmyr Gibbs, who's an electric, scat back, quick, does make good cuts. He's very shifty. Derrick Henry is power, runs you over. So I feel bad for those linebackers for the Vikings because they're in for a long day. They're going to be hurting after this game, win or lose. They're going to be sore. They're going to be in a lot of pain. The biggest thing, though, is with Lamar Jackson having such dynamic ability to escape from the pocket and those read pass options, you have to keep a spy out there. And that hurts your run defense. That's one reason why Derrick Henry has so much success, is because there's got to be a spy. And with that spy, keep an eye on Lamar. They're not really in the action to stop Derrick Henry. So that's going to be a problem. And the Ravens' pass offense has actually been better than expected. Like Lamar Jackson, his passing is pretty good. It's impressive. You just think that his legs keep him in MVP race, and he keeps changing with his legs. It's his arm usually. He's throwing like 4 touchdowns every game, it seems like. And that is kind of the weakness for the Vikings is their secondary. But saying that, the Ravens pass catchers don't really scare me. And there's one key thing for this game. And this was a while ago, so this was a different Ravens team. Lamar Jackson was probably second or third year, so he was still learning things. And they didn't have the same weapons, same defense, same outside line. A lot of differences. But I remember a Thursday night football game I was watching where the Ravens were like just the best team in the league at the moment. They were crushing teams, and they were playing the Dolphins, led by Brian Flores. And Brian Flores schemed up defensive blitzes that Lamar Jackson could not figure out. And the Dolphins won that game. The Dolphins were a bad team that year, but Brian Flores schemed up a blitz that every time there was a guy in his face, every single time. I'm hoping that Brian Flores remembers that, comes back to it, and dials that up again. So this should be a Ravens win. Maybe you say I'm drinking some purple Kool-Aid, but I'm going Vikings. And like I said before we recorded, this is going to be interesting selections for me. I'm going a little bold because there's always upsets. And it's hard to pick which upsets there are, but I'm going to try. And this is one of my upsets. I'm going Vikings confidence of 7,
Wow. I'm gonna go Ravens. Confidence of
as you
2.
probably should.
Um, the rest advantage is a huge issue for the Vikings this week. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how much the mini buy really helps, but time off helps. Like I think there's two
Hmm.
different things. I think some people talk about, oh, from a scheming standpoint, you could do things so differently between that mini buy and the next game, and maybe. But I think what it does make a difference is in this rest. It gives you a
Hmm.
few more
That's a
days to
big thing.
rest up to
Yeah.
be prepared for the next game. So I think that's going to be a hard turnaround. Um, but here's the thing: the Ravens are desperate. They cannot lose. They can't. They're 3-5. They lose one more
I would
game.
say kind of same for the Vikings. I say basically loser of this game misses the playoffs.
Hmm.
I do hear what you're saying. It's probably worse for the Ravens because they'd go
Yeah,
down to 6 losses and the Vikings would go down to 5. But the Ravens division, I think, is still gettable. Vikings division, they got 2 teams ahead of them that's just crushing it. The Ravens just got to worry about the Steelers.
I'm just trying to think about it here. Here's the thing: I don't think there's a path forward for the Ravens to make the playoffs without winning the division. That feels highly unlikely.
I would say same with the Vikings. Seahawks and Rams are like what 6-2. The 49ers are 5-3.
Yeah, but the Ravens are 2-3 in their conference, and the Vikings are 2-2. They're one game better in terms of conference, which that matters. I mean, the Ravens have some key losses to. They lost to the Bills, you lost to the Chiefs, you lost to the Texans. Like those are three losses that against playoff opponents. That really hurts. The Falcons lost for the Vikings. Yeah, it hurts, but I don't think that's a team you're going to be competing with. And the Eagles, it's like I'm not going to fault them for losing to the Eagles, but the Ravens losing to the Texans, come on, guys, you cannot blow that game. Like
Well, if
that
that
was
was
a,
their backup quarterback.
I know, but I still felt like they came up with I felt like they just didn't come up with a good game plan to get things going.
Hmm.
And I get it. Yes, you are limited by your backup quarterback, but I think in my mind that the games where you have a backup quarterback in, that's how good you find out your coaching staff is.
Mm.
If your coaching staff finds a way to win, that's a great feather cap. I mean, why do people like KOC, Andrew? It's because of what he's done with backup quarterbacks.
Hmm.
I mean, look at last year when JJ McCarthy went down and Sam Darnold's the starter. I mean, that was a big deal with how well they played. And then, what he did with Kirk Cousins and what you guys did with what's his name, Josh
Dobbs,
Dobbs.
the
I mean, that was an
pastronaut.
impressive stretch. Yes, the Pastronaut. I mean, but I just think that there's something to say for that. There's a couple of games there I felt like the Ravens could have had, but your locker room has to be in a good spot. You have to be in a good spot.
Hmm.
Everyone has to be on the same page. You have to be unified. If you're not, I mean, look at that Vikings Chargers loss. I would say that KOC was losing the locker room. So I do see what you're saying. I think from a keep the locker room standpoint, I would totally agree. From pure math, I would say that the need is far more drastic for the Ravens. But
That's fair.
I think the buy issue, we talked about getting a little high after a win. I just feel
Hmm.
like that I got to pick the Ravens. Not very confident. It's a confidence of two, but got to go with the Ravens.
Yeah, that's fair. And like I said, that's the right pick, but I'm going bold this week. And you'll see a couple others that are a little bit on the bold side. That was probably the boldest one, but I got to go with my boys. Um, we'll fly through some of these next ones because there's not really a lot to talk about on some of them. But this next one coming up is Giants at Bears. Bears coming off, well, I guess you can say that's an emotional win because they got Joe
You could.
Flacco to death. And their defense looked awful, but Caleb Williams and the offense looked great. But that was also against probably the worst defense. Them and the Cowboys. Who's the worst defense? I know it's a coin flip, but I probably go Bengals. The offense looked good. Colson Levin, I think, got in the end zone twice, so that's really good for him. Rookie tight end looking good there. Caleb Williams has had an up and down year. He's had a couple games where it's like, eh. Then this game where he totally crushed it, like that. Going up against the Giants defense that isn't awful, but it's not bad. They have a good D line. Their secondary is kind of suspect. So if the Bears can protect Caleb Williams and he can kind of get out of the pocket, maybe do some of those off script plays, he'll have success. It's at Chicago, which is difficult to win at. And for the Giants, they've been competitive, but they just don't have enough pieces. Jackson Dart is the key for them. And I mean, he's been awesome, but he's just been carrying it by himself. He doesn't really have a lot of players. Hiram Tracy Jr. is fine. He's no Cam Scatterbo, but he's fine. Their receivers, Wanda Robinson, Theo Johnson, they're fine, but they're nothing that scares you. Bears defense doesn't really scare you either, so it's not really like a difficult matchup for the Giants, so to speak. But they've just been struggling, and it's this is just the year to get Jackson Dart reps, get him used to the NFL speed, get him on the field, get him playing. But I'm not a believer in the Bears. I'm going Giants here. This is one of my other upsets. I'm picking the Giants. Confidence of two though, but I'm going
I,
Giants. Like I said, I got to pick some upsets. None of us
wait,
would have
hold on,
thought that the
people.
Dolphins would have beat the Falcons 2 weeks ago,
We
but
just
they
got to go
did.
over something. Andrew is 78 and 56. I'm 87 and 47. 773 points for me, 701
Hmm.
points for Andrew. We have to acknowledge that to the audience.
Yes, but 90% of the time we're picking the same teams. So this week I'm doing a little different.
Uh, we'll see. Okay, I'm definitely going Bears. I'm going to only do a confidence of one. That's fine. But still, the Bears have way more pieces and they're at
They
home.
do. Yeah.
Also, I still think the Giants are like sending out their third, fourth, and maybe even sixth string players. When I say sixth string, I mean practice squad and people they signed for their secondary. This is
Mm-hmm.
not a good matchup for him. And Cam Scadaboo is gone.
Mm-hmm.
We can just keep going, Andrew. I'm gonna pick the Bears. Confidence of one.
The Bills lost to the Falcons a few weeks ago. The Dolphins beat the Falcons a few weeks ago. There's always a crazy game that you did
Uh,
not expect
all right. Okay. This is the one qualifier. Who do the Bears play next? Let's find out.
at the Vikings.
Okay. Where's that narrative? You talk about it being a trap game. That's what you say. You don't just say, I think the Giants are just the better team and going to win. Like, come on, Andrew. I can't take you serious with that. It's a trap game. All right. It's a trap game. You're welcome. I just saved your narrative.
And they're coming off the emotional high of barely winning that game against the Bengals. And then trap game next week. This is my upsets. I think I have like two more on here. We'll see. There's always a couple upsets, and I'm just throwing some darts, some Jackson darts. You see what I did there?
Oh, goodness.
All right, next game.
That counts as
Bills
ours. That
at
counts as our dad joke
that
for
joke
this
of the
segment,
week.
right?
Okay,
Okay,
that's fair. That's
perfect.
fair. Next game, Bills at Dolphins. Spoiler alert, this is not one of my upset picks. Um, so the Bills, they're back on track after their bye. They're looking like a wagon again. They had struggles toward the beginning of the year, offensively mainly, and well, defensively as well. But last week, got to give you props. You called it that the Bills always beat the Chiefs in the regular season, which they do. I just thought that Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid were cooking, and it should be enough to get a win. They came up short. Bills got the W, and it was because of their defense. That was what was surprising. If it was like a 52 to 49 game and the Bills pulled it out at the end, I would have been like, yeah, it makes sense. It's shootout, team of the ball at last wins the game. But to hold Patrick Mahomes to less than 50% completions, that is impressive. Well done, Bills defense. Well done, D coordinator. Well done all around.
Andrew, I want to ask a quick question just because I took so much flack in our fantasy football chat about it. Do you think after this game that Patrick Mahomes is playing as good as some of the other top quarterbacks right now, or do you think it's just a one-off aberration, or do you think it's a little bit? Do you think he's just
I
contributed to
should
their losses?
I should give a context to that because I could be wrong, but I don't think that was the question in our chat. I think the question was just in clutch time, fourth and long, who do you want? I think that was the
Hmm.
original question. It wasn't who's playing better right now, because if that's the case, then you're 100% right. Right now, there's like three or four quarterbacks playing better than Patrick Mahomes, and that might be on the low end. There might be more than that. But if it's fourth and long and you just want a quarterback to make a play, I kind of get where they're coming from. I probably wouldn't put Mahomes
Mm,
one. I'd put him in the top three because he reads defenses really well. He has super confidence. He's got a cannon for an arm. He's got some mobility, but I wouldn't like dismiss him just because he's struggling this year. That's just circumstances. But if it's fourth and long and you just put a quarterback in there, I could see the logic for Josh Allen. I can see the logic for Matthew Stafford that was put in there, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. I mean, I could even see the logic of Caleb Williams because he can extend plays and he is great off script and just chunks that ball downfield. I can see
yeah,
logic for a lot of guys, but for most of our chat to pick Patrick Mahomes one, I don't necessarily think he's one, but I don't like disagree that that's just a horrible decision. I think that's fine. He's definitely top three. That was the narrative. Fourth and long. Not who do you want this year? If you said who I want this year, then yeah, he's probably around five-ish.
I I
But
feel like though
just
that
fourth and 17, because that's because the discussion was he
uh
converted that fourth and 17 against the Bills, and I was like,
right, he
what are
did.
you doing? So that's just where I feel on that is that was the discussion. It wasn't MVP candidate. It wasn't who's the best
No.
quarterback right now. It was
Hmm.
fourth and long. Who do you want? So I get where they're coming from. I wouldn't put him one, but I get it.
I guess the part I struggle with is I feel like that it's one and the same to me. Like if you aren't playing well right now, why would I
Hmm.
want you out there on fourth and 17? Does that not make sense though, that thinking?
Well, he did convert it.
Yeah, I mean, is that more luck or is that more skill?
I
Because to
think
me,
was
I felt
skill
like,
because his receiver was open and he hit him in stride on a dime.
hmm, I don't know, I'll give it more thought. Clearly, I am on the outs for this segment.
Well, I'm not like completely in line with them because they all had Mahomes one and they thought it was like kind of dumb to not think that. So I don't think he's one, but he's definitely like top three.
Hmm.
It's Allen, Hurts, Mahomes, Stafford. Those guys are in that conversation. Would I put Mahomes one? I'd probably put Josh Allen one, just because he's more mobile and if nothing's open, he probably can get to 17 yards with his legs.
Legs. Yeah.
And well, Mahomes can do that too, but more Allen. So I probably put Allen one, maybe a Lamar two because of his legs. I didn't think about Lamar. And then I think three, four is a coin flip to me between Baker and Mahomes. They're both up there as far as just their grittiness and their arm talent and not giving up. So that's kind of where
Yeah.
I would put it.
Interesting. Okay. Listen, fans out there, if you agree with me that Mahomes maybe is having a little bit of a step back this year and deserves a little bit of flack in that subcategories, would love your support because I was like treated like a village idiot after this conversation.
You kind of got a little bit abused there in the chat. I was like, ooh, I kind of feel bad. And I read it this morning, so I didn't have time to actually comment on it. I didn't want to send anyone a 5 a.m. message. I think that'd be kind of rude. But yeah, I was like, man, they're kind of harping on my guy a little bit. I see where they're coming from, but
I get it.
let's
I
give him a little
understand. I just
grace.
yeah. I think Mahomes is a great quarterback. I just feel like he's having a semi weird year. He's having a weird year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like
And he
he's
should
had
not
some
be
good
the lead
moments.
runner for MVP. He should not.
No, and I don't know. I'm not trying to belittle Patrick Mahomes. He's a great quarterback. See, this is the other thing I meant to mention in the chat. I will stand by my opinion that Mahomes and Andy
Hmm.
Reid are the best coaching duo we've ever seen. I still believe that. I still think that. I
Hmm.
just think that right now, I don't know. I just in any situation, I don't understand why I would pick him over. I mean, the Lamar Jackson effect when he came back against the Dolphins. I mean, he was lights out, over 70%
Hmm.
completion, three touchdowns,
Hmm.
and um, so, and we haven't seen much of Lamar Jackson this year, which granted he was injured and he's had injury issues in the past. And I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to belabor the point. I just had to get that discussion out there because
Yes.
I felt alone on it, which is fine. I'm
Yes.
happy to be alone. I am the person that's the best at picking things right now. So, I think that that deserves a little
Yeah.
credit.
Hmm. That's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair. So to wrap up the Bills Dolphins game, we really aren't going to talk about much. Josh Allen and the Bills are playing the best football they've played all year, and the Dolphins are selling pieces. Probably by the time they play, there's going to be like maybe two more pieces gone from the Dolphins for more draft picks. Who knows? Bradley Chubb's probably going to be gone. We'll see if Jalen Waddle stays. I mean, that's probably a stay, but we'll see if they get offered something huge. They might say, okay, we
you
have
never
to say
know.
yes. So,
Mhm.
and they have an interim GM, so he might say, "Hey, either I have to show something bold to keep the job, or I'm not keeping it. So fire, so let's go." I don't know. It depends on how he feels. Um,
Can I
but
can I add one other
yeah,
thing here? I
yes,
cannot believe that there's a report that came out this week that the Dolphins might still keep McDaniels after the season.
that's
I
insane.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And
Hmm.
um,
And honestly, I think that they lost that trade for Jalen Phillips because if they got the three from you guys from I think you said the Jets pick, I'd be like, okay, that's pretty even across the board because it's a high three. You can almost consider that a low two. So that's fine. But to get a late three for Jalen Phillips, I kind of don't think that's enough. I think they should have got a little bit more. So good on the Eagles for sending, I mean, what, maybe a 28, 29 pick or lower for a great pass rusher. Great,
the
great on
other
the Eagles.
part, the other part I didn't know, Andrew, is that the Dolphins are covering a significant portion of the
Exact
salary.
that too. That too. I was going to get to that. Yep, absolutely. So Eagles won that trade. Got to give them credit. And come on, Dolphins. You can't just sell your pieces away for nothing. And that's almost what they did.
I
But
would say
it's
nothing. You
interim
you
GM.
can't give a discount.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair. So I mean, if they're selling pieces, hopefully they're not giving like Jalen Waddle, the Packers, for a fourth round pick. I'm like, come on, let's not do that. Let's be smart here, Dolphins. Let's be smart. Anyway, Bills are winning this game. I got a confidence of 14. This is my biggest confidence because the Dolphins are awful and the Bills look like the best team right now.
Yeah, I think the big question I have for the Bills right now, also picking in confidence of 14, is you're 6-2. This happens a lot. This is the third year that they're in this position because they beat the Chiefs. Are you going to ride the momentum? We haven't
Yeah,
seen the
yeah,
Bills be the number one seed yet, and it's because they have a stretch that they just inexplicably fall off the wagon.
that's totally fair. Totally
So I
fair.
hope
Maybe they
I
should
hope
trade for
not.
Jalen Waddle.
I think if they could, they would.
Hmm.
I really think they would. I think the problem is that the Dolphins won't go for that, and then who else would you trade for? They don't want to do another Amari Cooper trade. That doesn't do anything.
Yeah, yeah. If they're going to make a trade, it needs to be a big time receiver.
Yep.
Oh, also, low another point I wanted to make for the Vikings. There's an interesting scenario going around. So I kind of wanted them to be buyers at the deadline. I don't know if they're going to, because I don't think they're going to take huge risks or send high amount of draft capital for players. They might do something like a depth piece or something, but there was reports at the beginning of the offseason that they had interest in Asante Samuel Jr., but he had this injury thing they needed cleared. He got cleared from multiple doctors saying that he's good to play football. So I want to see the Vikings pursue that. I want to see them being at least in the running. If they don't get him, they don't get him. But him coming in as your three just to see if he has a little juice left, see if he is healthy, that's a risk worth taking. And their third cornerback is an issue, kind of like what you were saying with the Eagles' second quarterback, which you guys are trying to throw some darts on that. So I want to see them pursue Asante Samuel Jr. That way they don't have to trade any draft picks. He could be great. He could be nothing. Give him an average contract and see what he's got.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it.
All right, had to get that out there. Next, and yeah, some of these will fly through. Browns at Jets. Both teams coming off a bye. Awesome. Good for them. They get to not lose for a week. But this is like two of the worst teams playing each other to see who is the worst. Because I honestly think the Saints are better than both teams, even though they have a worse
Yeah.
record than the Browns.
They have
Um,
a way tougher schedule.
yeah, I think the worst team is the Jets, and I think the Browns are second worst team. I think the Saints might be like fifth worst team, sixth worst team, but not the worst. I think there's some teams that are worse than them. But this is still going to be the Dylan Gabriel show, and the Jets defense isn't great. They don't scare you, and the Jets are probably going to be selling pieces at the deadline as well. It sounds like the Browns want to add pieces, which is strange, and they said they want to add young pieces, which okay, I get that, but I don't know. You're 2-6. Maybe you try to get some draft capital. But anyway, this game is kind of like a meh game to me. I mean, Brees Hall is good, but he might not be on the team when they play. Heron Fanning Jr. for the Browns, I like. I like Quinshon Judkins. He should be able to do a little bit here, but this game is just meh. I have the Browns winning, confidence of one, just because they're not as bad as the Jets.
I'm going with the Browns. I want the confidence of 3. Um, I think that as far as the moves that are happening, I think it's strictly because of the Myles Garrett unhappiness.
Hmm.
The part I don't understand with the Myles Garrett thing is you knew what you were doing when you signed that contract. You knew what
Hmm.
you were walking into. And it's hard for me to feel bad for him. It
Yeah.
it's twofold. One, you asked for a contract that you really didn't need all that money. So in effect, it just made your team worse. And two, there was never a prayer of a chance for the Browns to be this good this year. They have too many holes.
Yeah. And this was coming off before the season he wanted to trade. He was saying, I want to out. I want to play for a contender. Then all of a sudden he signs this huge contract that's putting the Browns in worse shape. It's on him.
It's just crazy, man. He should have traded. He should have sought a trade and just stuck with it.
Yeah. And now they
Held it
can't
out.
trade him because that contract's too awful.
It's crazy, man. I don't know. I'm glad the Eagles, by the way, did not make this trade. Many people wanted this. I am in the firm no. The cliff is coming, and at least that's my opinion. I mean, J.J. Watt was a fantastic edge rusher, but
Hmm.
even he was able to was taken down by Father Time. Granted, he's had more injury issues than Garrett. I just think
Hmm.
once you cross that 30-year mark with defensive linemen and I'd say
Running backs.
cornerbacks, running backs, those three I think are like some of the three prime
Yep,
examples.
for
Man, you got to
sure.
be so careful because it could
Hmm.
just end up hurting you so much. Because I mean, if you're paying over $40 million per year for this person, they have to contribute, or else it's going to majorly hurt your team.
Hmm. I agree. I agree. And the Browns have a lot of holes. I like Judkins. I like Fanning Jr. They have to find a quarterback because quarterbacks on the roster aren't it. Um, yeah, they need a lot of help. They did get some more draft
So,
picks with that Travis Hunter trade, so we'll see.
mhm. do you do you think that Shador Sanders is going to get a start here soon?
That's interesting. I'm gonna go with no. I'm gonna go
Okay.
with no because the coach didn't want him, doesn't believe in him. Um, and Dylan Gabriel isn't that great either, but if Shador Sanders was benched lower down the depth chart under Dylan Gabriel, what's that show that the coaching staff believes in him? So I'm gonna say no. I mean, it's not like they're all of a sudden saying, "Okay, let's see what we got in our team because the season's over." Their season's been over since week one, basically. So I say
Yeah.
give Dylan Gabriel all the starts you need to see if he's it. The next year, draft another quarterback.
Yeah. I like it. Move to the next game.
Yes, and this is gonna be a good one. Patriots at Buccaneers. So for the Patriots, they're 7-2, leading that division right now because that big win against the Bills. But I am still not fully bought in. They barely beat the Falcons. They,
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know if I don't want to say they got lucky, but a missed extra point, you kind of hard to count on that to win. And if the Falcons hit that extra point, which is, normal thing to do, it's a tie game, and who knows what would have happened. But they missed the extra point. Patriots win. Win's a win. So, credit to them. But I'm not fully bought into them just yet. Um, I don't know. It just Drake May's good. He's playing well, but he's still young. He doesn't have great pass catchers. Stephon Diggs is past his prime. He's okay, but he's not like on that elite level anymore. And their running game has been kind of an issue. Stevenson's been dinged up. I don't know if he's going to miss this game or not. It was a Trayvon Henderson show, but he didn't really show a lot against the Falcons. So I don't know. I don't fully believe in the Patriots just yet. I don't think they're going to win this division. I still think it's the Bills. And on the Buccaneers side, I do believe in this team. They've dealt with a ton of injuries and they're still 6-2. And those two losses that they have lost, they were in the game against the Eagles. I mean, I've been impressed with the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield is it. He is legit. Bucky Irving's probably going to be back. Igbuka's going to be healthy. Godwin might be healthy as well. They're getting their pieces back. This is at Tampa. So I like the Buccaneers in this game. Let me see where I got it. I got this as a confidence of 8. It's going to be a good game. Patriots are a good team. I'm not discounting them, but I don't think they're on that elite level everyone's putting them on just yet. And I think the Buccaneers are. So I'm going Buccaneers, confidence of 8. And Lance had to go get his kiddo. That's part of being a parent. Sometimes our kiddos wake up and we got to go get them some food, take care of them, get them back to sleep. So when he comes back, we'll continue. Oh, he's back. Look at that. That was quick.
Oh, we are going through a sleep regression right now, Andrew. So sorry about that.
Yeah. And daylight savings time probably didn't help either.
No, it did not.
Oh, it's good.
Um,
I literally just ended. I was like, okay, we'll wait till Lance gets back. And then boop, you're here. So I'm Patriots at Bucks. I'm going Bucks. I think they're an elite team, and I don't think the Patriots are just yet. They're a good team, but I don't think they're on that elite level. They barely sneaked out some games. I like Drake May, but I don't think he's quite there yet. So I'm going Bucks, and I'm going confidence of 8.
I'm going Bucks confidence of 4. Um, it's going to be a tight one. This is like such a
Hmm.
good game. And Andrew, full
Hmm.
confession, I I have church at that time, so I will miss most of this game, and it bums me because this is like the one game this week that I've got highlighted of like want to
Want to
watch,
watch?
want to
Hmm.
follow.
Hmm.
But um, I do think that the rest that Buccaneers have is going to be a huge factor for this game.
and getting them back healthy. Like Bucky Irving should be back. Igbuka's going to be healthier. Chris Godwin might be
Godwin
back.
might be back.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mike Evans
So
won't be, but I mean, the rest of their team is starting to get a little healthy.
the one part that I say as a caveat, though, is we talked about how much a coach can make a difference, right? Mike Vrabel is a perfect example of how much a
Great
coach makes a
coach.
difference. And then the other thing I
Great
wanted to say
coach.
too, while we're talking about coaches, hat tip to Todd Bowles. This looks like his
Hmm.
team. He's done a fantastic job. So yeah,
Absolutely. He's been doing great. All right. Next game, Saints at Panthers. We just talked about the Saints aren't one of the worst teams in this league. They've had a tough schedule. They fought. Tyler Shook was, kind of what I expected last week against that Rams defense. He had a couple plays. You're like, okay. But overall, it was kind of, it's his first start. He's a rookie going against a good defense. They were just outmatched in that game. And Matthew Stafford's throwing like 4 or 5 touchdowns a game, which is insane. But he should be able to show a little bit more against his Panthers team, even though Panthers are coming off a really good defensive game against the Packers, which we'll get to the Packers here later. And that's a big win for them. They're 5-4. They're only 2 games back of the Bucks. They're right there. They have been
hmm
maybe one of the surprise teams in the NFL so far. They've had an easier schedule, so I don't want to give them too much credit, but they are better than what people thought they were. Rico Dowdle has been an insane addition to their team that no one expected, and I think he's going to continue to eat and feast and do enough to continue to win. I do have the Panthers winning this game. It's going to be close because the Saints are a fine team. They're not a pushover, but it's at Carolina. Panthers are on a roll. I have the Panthers with the confidence of 6.
same confidence of six.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you want to add to that one?
Nope, I think we can move on to the next one.
All right. This one could be interesting. Jags at Texans. The Jags pull off a win that they probably shouldn't have in that game. Cam Little, give him credit. He broke the NFL record for longest field goal. And if you watch that field goal, he could have made that for maybe like 72, 73. That sucker had some space after he made it. I was like, that's impressive. He's not very accurate. He's got to clean that up. But as far as kicking
His
length,
power.
him and yeah, him and I mean it's him and the Cowboys kicker. It's him and
Oh,
Aubrey.
Aubrey. Yeah.
That's the two with the strongest legs. Now Aubrey's much more accurate. He did miss his 60-yard field goal Monday night, but I mean it's 68 yards. You can't really say much about it. But still, give Cam Little credit. That was a great kick. And looking at it, that kind of won the game for them because without that kick, they don't go to OT. And that's against the Raiders, who haven't playing that well. So I'm not fully bought into the Jags just yet. They're 5-3. It's a good record. Got to give them credit for wins, but it's just not clicking. Trevor Lawrence just isn't fully that guy. I don't fully believe in him yet. And Travis Hunter still going to be out on IR. Brian Thomas Jr. hasn't shown up really this year. It's been Parker Washington, ETN, couple tight ends here or there. And they're going against an elite defense. Not a good defense, an elite defense. One of the best defenses in the league. Now, the issue for the Texans is that really bad hit that CJ Stroud took against the Broncos. Was it illegal? Probably, because he was trying to slide, but in real time, it's hard to anticipate when the quarterback's going to slide. So I don't give too much flack on that Broncos defensive back, but it still was illegal according to the rules. He did hurt CJ Stroud, and I feel bad for him. He went into concussion protocol. I don't know if he's going to be back yet. Recording this on Tuesday, so there's lots of time to figure that out. But even with that, Davis Mills was okay. He got them in position to win most of the time. It was the defense that didn't really keep the Broncos out of field goal range to win the game. So this is at Houston. I'm picking Houston to win with a confidence of 4.
We're going Jaguars confidence five. Um, I
I
just don't
figured we'll be
believe in
opposite on this one.
I don't believe in the Texans offense. Speaking of defenses, the Jaguars defense has been pretty good this year for the most part.
It's been underrated. Yeah, it's been underrated.
I do think, last week was tough, but Brock Bowers is back. And I think that makes a
Hmm.
huge difference. Brock Bowers is one of the best pass catchers in the NFL right now. He's just
Yep.
playing lights out. When he's out there, he's making a difference. I mean, 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards.
Hmm.
incredible.
Yep.
He's that good of a player. But yeah, I'll pick the Jags for this one.
Okay. Yeah. I figured that was one of our differences. And again, somehow Houston keeps getting favored in some of these games that they shouldn't be favored. So I can't say this is one of my upsets because Houston is favored. I'm like, oh, well, that sucks because I wanted to pick a lot of upsets, and that was one of them. I have I have one more though that is kind of an upset, which we'll get to. You might actually agree with me on this one. But next up, we have Cardinals at Seahawks. I have to admit, I was sort of impressed with the Cardinals on Monday night against the Cowboys. Their defense showed up. Their offense did what their offense was going to do, move the ball a little bit, score a few points, but their defense showed up and stopped the Cowboys for most of that game. They forced two fumbles, which really hurt because if Javonte Williams didn't fumble that football, I do believe that the Cowboys score and Javonte Williams might score and I might win my matchup, but didn't happen. And again, it's on the coach. I didn't put Marvin Harris Jr. in. And he played really well with Jacoby Brissett. Issue for the Cardinals is I think Kyler Murray's probably back next week. And he has not been playing as well as Jacoby Brissett. And I don't fault the Cardinals for starting Murray over him because they have to. He's their quarterback. They paid him a ton of money. You can't have Jacoby Brissett start over him. If you drafted someone like the Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix situation, that's a different story because your drafted quarterback's your future quarterback. But Kyler Murray's their future currently. So they have to start him, and he has been playing as well as Jacoby Brissett. I'm just going to say it. Brissett makes this team better, in my opinion, currently, right now. And I think it's going to be Kyler Murray. And the Seahawks, they're playing so well. I was impressed with them against the Commanders. I know the Commanders lost Jane Daniels, but that was a little bit later in the game. Before that, the Seahawks were still dominating the entire time. I was impressed with the Seahawks that game. This is at Seattle. Sam Darnold's cooking right now. Their defense is cooking. I have Seattle winning this game, and I have this as a confidence of 10.
Seattle confidence of 8. The only reason why it's a little lower for me is rivalry.
Yeah.
Rivalry games are squirrely.
Yeah.
The last time we had a conversation about the Cardinals Seahawks game, that's what I came down to for why I gave it a 1 confidence was it's
Hmm.
just tough. These games are always closer than you think they'll be, or I should say they're
Hmm.
often closer than you think they'll be. Um, I think that Kyler Murray's getting a lot of flack. I don't know. I mean, I haven't looked at his stats closely, but I don't feel like he's
Yeah.
played bad. I feel like he hasn't played as good as he could have. Like that's fair. But I think that there's more that needs to happen. Like the lack of a running game. I mean, the passer rating by percent that these past 2 games, I think, is where I think it's most convincing. But completion percentage, Murray has been very similar. Yards, not that different, except if for the first week where Brissett had 320 against the Colts. I don't know. I understand that he's playing better. I think that people are looking for a narrative to say that the backup
That's
hero is
fair.
coming in and playing better. I don't know.
I think
We'll
their
see.
offense as a whole looks better with Brissett than it did with Murray. So
And
their
that,
stats might be the same, but I think they're converting more. Marvin Harrison Jr. is more involved. They're number one. Well, I guess
yes.
number two. 'Cause I would still say McBride's the number one pass catcher, but their number two playmaker on offense is more involved with Brissett than it was Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray and Harris Jr. did not have any chemistry, and that's an issue because you spent a fourth round, or number fourth overall pick on Harrison Jr.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, we both expect the Seahawks to win. And I think that's
Yep.
fair. They're playing incredible football right now.
Hmm. Yes. Yes, they are. They're again, one of those surprise teams in the NFL. I mean, I thought they'd be good, but I didn't think they'd be elite, and they are looking elite. And I got to give them credit. They built this team on defense, and they tried to build on the run game, but the run game hasn't done much. It's Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigba, and that's been working. So, got to give them credit.
Yep.
Next game is also going to be a fun one. I'm excited for this one. Rams at 49ers. I'll start with the 49ers. They're their home team. I'm not fully bought into them just yet, but they have one of the best players in the NFL, Christian McCaffrey. He's back to CMC. He's back to dominating. He is their leading rusher, leading receiver, leading touchdown guy. He's their leader of everything. He's done everything, and he can't be stopped. Rams have a good defense, but you can only hope to contain CMC. You're not going to truly stop him. And it doesn't really matter who's the quarterback. Like we said before, Mac Jones or Brock Purdy, they're both kind of the same. Mac Jones has been playing pretty well. George Kittle is healthy. We'll see about Ricky Pearsall. He's been out a couple games. Juwan Jennings is there. Brandon Ayuk might be back. I don't know when, but he's on the track to come back. I don't know if it's going to be this game, but he's close. But this is the best the Rams have looked in a long time. Matthew Stafford is wheeling and dealing. I know Puka got a little dinged up. We'll see how that turns out. Like that could be a factor, but even without Puka, Devontae Adams is still there playing well. They still have good tight ends. They're both their running backs are playing pretty well, and Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. I like the Rams defense. I like the quarterback. I'm going Rams to win this game with a confidence of 9.
I'm going Rams with a confidence of 9 as well. And um, I give props to the 49ers. I just think the Rams are the better team right now. Stafford's playing
For
lights
sure.
out.
Yeah. And the 49ers just lost their defensive one of their best defensive players. Again, the rookie they drafted, torn ACL. They're just dealing with so many injuries. That defense is just shredded with injuries. They have no pass rush anymore. Their secondary is can get got. They're just dealing with a lot over there.
Yeah. This feels like a 5 or 6 to 7 seed playoff team.
Yeah,
I think they're still going to find a way to win. I think there's enough pieces there. The 49ers are still finding ways to pick up wins most weeks.
they are. They are.
Um, but yeah, this is not a legitimate NFC West contender. I think it's down to the
Hmm.
Rams and Seahawks.
I agree. I agree. All right, next up, this one we probably don't have to touch much on. Sadly, this was going to be a fun game, but Jane Daniels is out, so it's probably not going to be all that competitive. Lions at Commanders. Lions coming off the emotional loss to my Vikings, to where if you look at it deeply, they did kind of beat themselves some too. They had a lot of penalties, and their O line just kept getting hurt, kept getting hurt, kept getting hurt. And with all that, they only lost by 3. So, got to give them some credit. They still looked really good. The run game got stifled, and Jared Goff was sacked 5 times. Their offensive line was ravaged with injuries, and they had so many penalties that kept drives alive for the Vikings or that ended their drives, and they still only lost by 3. So credit to them for that. They had everything going against them, and they were that close. Jared Goff, awesome. The run game's going to get back going. You know it is. Commanders defense is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Amon St. Brown is awesome. Sam Laporta looked great last week. They're just one of the better teams. They're an elite team that just kind of stumbled last week. It happens. And the Commanders missing Jane Daniels. Who knows about Terry McLaurin? Their season's kind of done. I honestly think that they should see if they can get a draft pick for something. Like you mentioned the Zach Ertz trade, which makes sense. They should be moving a couple pieces because they're not making the playoffs with Jane Daniels being out probably for the rest of the year, which is unfortunate. And their schedule's still tough. They play the Lions this week. They still got the Eagles again, right? They still play the Eagles again. And they have the Vikings coming up soon. Their season's done. Lions are winning this game, and I have this, I think, as my confidence of 13. Yeah, confidence of 13.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think that you've outlined everything that I would outline. I've got this as a confidence of 13, and for the life of me, I don't understand why Jaden Daniels was in that game so long. It was over.
I agree. I agree. He should have been probably pulled halfway through the third. I could understand starting the third, just say, hey, let's see if we can get a drive going, get some momentum. But the second that doesn't happen, all right, call it. We're done.
Well, I think the part that's the most miffing to me is that Jaden Daniels has been banged up so much this year.
This whole year. Yeah, that's true.
You knew that this was like risky territory, and you were down by like 31 points. Like, come on, guys! Like, at
Mm-hmm.
some point, you just have to say it's not our day. I know
Mm-hmm.
Dan Quinn admitted that, and he's taken flack for it. Like he's admitted his role in that. I just
Mm-hmm.
got to be smarter than that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jed Daniels will be back. I kind of anticipated that this year will be a little bit down year for him, but I didn't think it was because of injuries. I just thought, sophomore slump, it happens. CJ Stroud
Yeah.
last year, it happens, and defenses learn your takes, your tails. So and he kind of has struggled a little bit, but then he's been dealing with so many injuries. I didn't want that to happen, but I kind of did see that that's the Commanders is probably not a playoff team at the beginning of the year. I think we talked about that, but
Hmm.
you never won it because of injuries. You just won it because, other teams play better.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, moving on to Sunday night football. Steelers at Chargers. Got to give the Steelers credit for that big win against the Colts. I still stand by my point that I was impressed that the Colts actually clawed back and made that game a game when they were being dominated most of the game. But I got to give the Steelers defense credit. They had six turnovers. They were all over the place, all in Daniel Jones's face. They stopped the run. They stopped Jonathan Taylor from dominating. The Steelers defense came to play. The Steelers offense was fine. It wasn't great, but it was fine. Moved the ball a little bit, scored a couple touchdowns, did what it needed to do. Aaron Rodgers got the ball out when he needed to. He didn't take too many sacks. And that's one of the keys for this game is that Aaron Rodgers doesn't take sacks. And the Chargers defense is aggressive, wants to get after you. Aaron Rodgers is going to get rid of that ball. He's not going to take those sacks. Um, I think the biggest thing for this, though, I would pick the Chargers to win this game. They're at home. I would. But Joe Alt is out for probably the year now. I think they might announce that officially. Like he has another high ankle
Yeah.
sprain. I think they just officially announced he's out for the year, and that's huge because now they have two backup tackles. They were getting away with having one backup tackle and Joe Alt on the other side. Like, okay, let's get away with it. We can figure it out. But with both backup tackles going against T.J. Watt and this pass rush that just sacked Daniel Jones all day, all long, like the whole time, I think this is a bad time to play this team. I'm going the upset because the Chargers are favored. I'm going the Steelers to win this game, and I have this as my confidence of where is it at? Let's see. It's hiding from me. A confidence of 3.
Hmm. I went with the Steelers too with a confidence of 10. And the big reason why is that injury.
Yep.
I'm not feeling good about it. Not feeling good about the chances the Chargers have with that huge tackle injury.
Yep. Yeah. Like I said, if Joat was in, I'm probably picking Chargers to win because I believe in Herbert much more than I believe in the Steelers as a team. But
Hmm.
that injury is just huge. It shows time and time again when you're missing your tackles, that's bad, especially going against an elite pass rush.
Yeah.
All right, we're here. Last game, Monday Night Football, the tush push bonanza. Eagles at Packers. I want the Eagles to run the tush push at least 15 times. Please, 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 please. And like I said at the beginning of the year, I would love it if they did an entire drive of just a tush push. They won't because that is actually a higher injury risk because it's just a lot of damage down there in the middle of the field. But I want the Eagles to run the tush push so many times. Like if it's first and goal from the 9, I want straight tush pushes. Don't even mess around. The Packers defensive line up the middle is suspect because they traded Kenny Clark for an edge rusher. Their up the middle defense is not great. Rico Dowdle just torched them. So run that tush push, Eagles. Run it for us, please. It's going to be on national TV, Monday Night Football. Please do it. Eagles coming off their bye. That's huge. Getting rested, getting things together. The only downside to that is they were just coming off huge momentum. Two back-to-back weeks where offense looked amazing. Then they have to stop playing. That sometimes can be a factor to where you're like, oh man, we're just getting going. Kind of like the NBA playoffs. Whenever you sweep a team and you have to sit and wait for like 2 weeks to play your next opponent, that game one, you don't sometimes show up because you haven't played in a while. So I think that the momentum for their offense is kind of a sneaky factor here because it's been humming and then all of a sudden they got to rest and not play again. So hopefully they can keep that
Mhm.
churning. Packers defense is good, but it's not elite like everyone thought it was at the beginning of the year because without Micah Parsons getting sacks, you can run up the middle. You kind of find some receivers open, and Eagles have a great passing offense, and Saquon Barkley should get going. And as we know on the Packers side, I'm not a Packers believer. Well, let me state that this way. I'm not a Jordan Love believer. And
Mhm.
he's proven time and time again my correctness on that stance because he just makes plays like, what are you doing? Like that play on like fourth down, they were in the red zone, about to score, had the potential to score, and he's running around everywhere, not finding anything open, and he just throws it up opposite side of the field with no receivers around, straight to the Panthers defender. What are you doing there? He's got ton of talent. I can't disagree with that. Arm talent for days. He is a phenomenal talented quarterback, but it's up here that sometimes is the key, and he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that in those clutch
Mhm.
moments. And so I think this game, the Packers always play with their competition. They always do. They played to the Browns. They played to the Panthers. They played to the Lions, and they beat them down. They play to their competition. So this is going to be a good game. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be close. But the clutch gene that Jordan Love doesn't have, that Jalen Hurts does have, is the key to this matchup to me. When it comes down to you need a play, you need a score, Hurts does it all the time. We need a first down, Hurts does it. Jordan Love hasn't done that in his career. Could he figure that out? Sure. He's still young, but he hasn't done that. The Packers are favored in this game, so this is again an upset pick for me. I got to pick a lot of them. I'm picking the Eagles, and because of that clutch scenario I just laid out, I'm picking the Eagles with a confidence of 11.
I'm picking the Eagles with a confidence of 7. The Tucker Craft injury is huge.
That's a big thing too. Yep,
I think
for
that
sure.
that's the question I have for this game is if Josh Jacobs gets going, which I think could happen. The Eagles have been got on the running game.
Yeah,
That would be a really big problem. But
yeah.
um, the rest advantage, um, it's going to be a closer game because of this Panthers loss, which just absolutely disappoints me. This is not what I wanted. I will take the advantage in the fact that we're now tied
Hmm.
in term, well, not tied, but we're in a closer scenario with the win-loss record because of that loss. But it's going to
Hmm.
make the game tougher. But
Yeah.
I do agree with you. Um, the part with Jordan Love that's hard for me is there's some games I'm watching him and just like, man, he's a great quarterback. And then there's other
Hmm.
games where you're like, I don't know what he was thinking in that scenario. That was definitely not the best throw, and it really hurt his team.
Hmm.
Um, he is still young. He's still growing. I mean, those first um, 2 years watching Jalen Hurts, there was a lot of growing taking place, and everyone's
Yeah.
growth timeline is different. So
Yeah.
maybe things will continue to improve as Love gets older and matures. And I mean, from a standpoint though, there's parts about the Packers have gotten better. They finally beat the Lions. Like that was a hill they could not climb. The part that's killing him is that they can't beat the low teams now. Like, the
Yeah. They
Panthers are
play to
not
their
a
competition.
that's just crazy. I still can't believe the Browns beat them. I know that was earlier in the
Hmm.
year, but losing to the Browns is just like I think it's karma for Steven, by the way. He razzed him so badly about their, you know, quarterback dilemma for the past 25 years. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Eagles for sure. I really like what I'm seeing. And I do think you're gonna see the tush push in some scenarios. There's gonna be
Oh, please. Please, please, please. So many times. I don't want it just a couple times. I want it at least like 7 or 8 times. They got to do it
well, and I just have to say, the Seahawks ran the tush push on Monday Night Football.
with their tight end. Yeah.
The Bills ran the tush push in a Tuesday
Hmm.
in a way on Sunday. Those teams voted against the tush push.
Hmm.
And I recall both of them bringing up health and safety factors. Like
Hmm.
that doesn't make sense to me. You can't make that argument and then be like, yeah, we're going to try and run the play too because the fact it's still out there. Like, okay, if it's not safe for players, don't run the play. Like,
Hmm.
let's just call it what it is, Andrew. People don't want the play because it doesn't stylistically look pleasing, and they're frustrated with the fact that the Eagles have been able to be successful. There's been some offsides issues, which I can live with that. Like, I can agree to that. But I don't know. It's annoying. It's annoying that I feel like it only comes up
Hmm.
when the Eagles run it. That's not fair. If it's an annoying play, it's an annoying play for everybody. And don't
Yep.
just bring it up when the one team you don't like runs it. That's my
That's
opinion.
fair. That's fair. I will say though that when the Eagles played the Vikings, I really wanted them to run it more because the Brian Flores style of trying to stop it
Yes.
was interesting. So you technically ran it twice. One time you guys got a call back on the false start and you
Mm,
didn't try it again. I thought the one time it was ran, I thought it was close enough to where Jalen Hurts might not have got that first down. They gave it to
yeah,
him. It's hard to tell in that scrum, but I was like, wow, the Vikings defense stood up, stood pat, and it was super close to stopping it. I kind of thought that was a 50-50 wherever the spot was. So
I
I was
agree.
I was impressed with the way they attempted to stop it. And now that's on tape. We'll see if everyone else tries to do that. But The problem was they only did it once because second time was the false start, and then you guys never had to run the tush push again because he just
So
torched us through the air.
I haven't been able to watch it, but what was different between what Chris Jones did in the Super Bowl against the Eagles in that play and what Flores did?
It was
Because it
similar.
looked similar, but
It was
what
similar.
it didn't feel like it was as well. Was it just not as well executed by the Chiefs? Like, is that the difference?
Probably, probably. And I think that Minnesota did more of a he went down low and then they had multiple guys go up high, like go over the
Mm,
pile and try to pull Jalen Hurts back before he can really get some momentum. So they had some guys go low on purpose to kind of stop the O line from just going forward.
right, creating a
And then they had
clog.
guys go over to try to get over the line and get to Hurts before he gets there. So they had multiple different layers to it, which I thought was, hey, you got to try what you got to try. And I think it semi worked. I wanted to see it happen more often, but it only officially happened once because of that false start.
Yeah. Well, I mean, um, I wouldn't be surprised if the commissioner's there for this game, by the way. And if he's there, I think the Eagles are going to run it even
Oh,
more.
I really
Like,
hope so.
I mean, really, like that Chiefs Eagles game when he was there and they were running it, I was like, oh, this is personal. Jeffrey probably went up to
Hmm.
Nick and he's like, you see that guy up there? I want you to run the tush push in front of his
Hmm.
face 10 times today. Yeah,
Yep.
man. But it's good. To Can't wait for the Eagles to be back. A bye week is horrible. It's awful. Like you just sit there for that week wondering if your team's going to be able to come back and play the next week
Hmm.
because it just feels that long. But yeah, man, I'm excited for it. This Monday night game is going to be it's going to be must watch.
Hmm.
So I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, that's all I had for this week. Week 10. 14 games, four teams on by. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, it's amazing how fast this year's gone by. So looking forward to
Hmm.
it. Should be good. Looking forward to following these games, the Patriots and Bucks, Jaguars, Texans. There's a lot of really good matchups. So
Hmm.
Ravens, Vikings. Yeah, should
Yep.
be fun.
This is a good week. This is a good week. We've had some off weeks, but this is one of the good weeks.
Yep.
It's going to be good. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us in our Week 10 preview with the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and we will see you next time.
We'll see everybody.